Willie Howard Mays Jr. was born on May 6, 1931, in the small steel town of Westfield, Alabama, a place where life was hard and opportunity was limited for most African American families in the early 20th century. His father, Willie "Cat" Mays Sr., worked at a steel mill and also played semi-professional baseball on the weekends, while his mother, Annie Satterwhite, was a talented athlete herself, known for her skills in basketball. From the very beginning, Willie Mays was surrounded by sports, motion, and the rhythm of the game. His father's love for baseball and his mother's athleticism created a natural foundation for a boy who would one day be considered one of the greatest players in the history of the game. Growing up in the segregated South, Mays experienced both the joy of a tight-knit community and the harsh realities of racial inequality. Opportunities for black children were scarce, yet the sandlots and dusty fields of Westfield offered Willie a place to escape, to run freely, and to hit rocks with sticks when no ball or bat was available. His father quickly recognized his son's talent. Cat Mays was determined to teach his boy everything he knew about the game. From the age of 5, Willie was already learning how to throw, catch, and swing with both hands. His father would take him to the steel mill team's practices and games, allowing him to sit in the dugout, observe older players, and soak in the details of the sport. By the time Willie was 10 years old, he could field, hit, and run better than many grown men. At Fairfield Industrial High School, Willie excelled not only in baseball but also in football and basketball. He played quarterback on the football team, showcasing his leadership and athletic versatility. On the basketball court, his speed and quickness made him nearly unstoppable. Still, it was baseball that captured his heart. He dreamed of making it big, though at the time African American players were excluded from Major League Baseball. For most black athletes in the 1930s and 1940s, the Negro Leagues were the highest level of professional competition they could hope to reach. Willie was fully aware of this, yet his ambitions never wavered. He wanted to play at the very top, and even as a teenager he believed he could. At just 15 years old, Willie began playing professionally for the Birmingham Black Barons of the Negro American League. It was an extraordinary leap for a boy his age, but his natural abilities were undeniable. Facing grown men with years of experience, Willie held his own. He was not yet the polished superstar he would become, but the raw tools were evident: his speed in the outfield, his powerful arm, his instinct for making plays that others could not, and his developing swing at the plate. The Black Barons manager, Piper Davis, became an important figure in his life, guiding him and ensuring that his youthful enthusiasm was channeled into discipline. During his time with the Black Baron, when the Giants shocked the baseball world by announcing they would be leaving New York for San Francisco after the 1957 season, it marked a turning point not only in the history of the franchise but also in the career of Willie Mays. New York had embraced Mays as a hero, and he was beloved in Harlem and throughout the city. Fans in the Polo Grounds had come to see him as their star, a player who brought life to a struggling team and gave the community something to cheer for. The decision to move the team west was not Willie's, yet it placed him in the unfamiliar position of carrying baseball's hopes to a new frontier. In 1958, as the Giants settled in California, Mays faced both excitement and challenge. San Francisco was eager to adopt its new team, but the adjustment was not seamless. Mays struggled with homesickness, missing the rhythm of New York and the crowds who had celebrated him so passionately. He also encountered fresh waves of racism and misunderstanding, particularly in housing. For a time, he was denied the ability to buy a home in a white neighborhood, a painful reminder of the prejudices he faced even as one of the most famous athletes in America. Still, he pushed forward, determined to lead his team and prove that the game could thrive on the West Coast. On the field, Mays remained extraordinary. He continued to hit for power, run with speed, and field with brilliance. San Francisco fans soon realized they were watching a once-in-a-lifetime player. Children in California began to imitate him just as kids in New York once had. He became the face of baseball on the West Coast, bridging the game's old traditions with its expanding future. The rivalry with the Los Angeles Dodgers, who had moved from Brooklyn at the same time, gave Mays and the Giants an instant stage for drama. Willie versus players like Duke Snider, Don Drysdale, and later Sandy Koufax turned into epic contests that captivated new audiences. Throughout the 1960s, Willie Mays defined what it meant to be a superstar. His numbers alone were astonishing. In 1962, he hit 49 home runs and drove in 141 runs, leading the Giants to the National League pennant. That year's World Series against the New York Yankees was a showcase of talent, with Mays once again sharing the stage with Mickey Mantle, his great contemporary. The series went 7 games, ultimately ending in heartbreak for San Francisco when Bobby Richardson caught a line drive in the 9th inning of Game 7 to seal the Yankees' victory. Mays had contributed with key hits and defensive plays, but once again the ultimate prize slipped just out of reach. Despite the disappointment, Mays' individual brilliance never wavered. Season after season, he produced numbers that most players could only dream of. He hit 40 or more home runs 6 times in the 1960s, won Gold Gloves year after year, and remained a fixture at the All-Star game. By this time, he had perfected his trademark style, the basket catch, in which he W. L. When Willie Mays retired in 1973, baseball lost not only a great player but a living embodiment of joy, talent, and brilliance on the field. His departure marked the end of an era, but it also opened a new chapter in which his legend would grow even larger. The statistics alone were enough to guarantee immortality: 660 home runs, 3,283 hits, 24 All-Star appearances, 12 Gold Gloves, and 2 MVP awards. Yet to focus only on the numbers was to miss the essence of Willie Mays. His greatness was not simply measured in tallies and totals but in the way he played the game, the feeling he inspired in fans, and the sense that when Willie was on the field, anything was possible. In 1979, just 6 years after his retirement, Mays was inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. The ceremony was a celebration of not just a career but an era. Fans, players, and dignitaries gathered to honor him, and the ovation he received was thunderous. Mays spoke with humility, acknowledging those who had helped him along the way, from his father and his early coaches to teammates and fans. His speech reflected the joy and gratitude that had always been central to his character. For those in attendance, it was a reminder that Willie Mays was not only one of the greatest players in baseball history but also one of its most beloved. In the years that followed, Mays remained a visible and influential figure in the sport. He worked as a coach and advisor, sharing his wisdom with younger players who grew up idolizing him. His presence in the dugout, whether with the New York Mets briefly after his playing career or later with the San Francisco Giants, was a source of inspiration. Players who had watched him from afar were now able to learn from him directly, absorbing lessons about preparation, discipline, and the mental side of the game. Mays had always played with an instinctive brilliance, but he also had an understanding of strategy and subtlety that made him a valuable mentor. Off the field, Mays became an ambassador for baseball. He attended events, visited communities, and spoke about the game with a passion that never diminished. For young fans who never saw him play in his prime, his presence kept the connection alive. They might not have witnessed The Catch in 1954 or his 52 home run season in 1965, but they could hear his stories, feel his warmth, and sense his greatness. In many ways, Mays became a bridge between generations, linking the golden age of baseball with the modern era. The question of who was the greatest baseball player of all time has always been debated, but Mays' name consistently rises to the top. Some point to Babe Ruth for his dominance in the 1920s, others to Hank Aaron for his longevity.